Well, today we're starting a brand new series called Too Casual, and we're looking at the characteristics of God, His attributes, and we're exploring the truth that sometimes as followers of Jesus, we can be too casual in how we relate to God and how we view God. And so for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be looking at different attributes, and we're going to sort of pick them apart. Today I'm in the studio with Pastor Dave, and we're starting with God's, His all-knowing, right? He is an all-knowing God. And there's a great story that we're going to start with from Acts chapter 5. So Dave, why don't you start with the story for those who've never heard this one?
Yeah, it is a great story. A little context, because that helps the story. The church is growing, it's expanding, it's a pivotal time in the church. People are being so generous with God, they're giving homes, they're giving property. And so Ananias and Sapphira decide they're going to sell some land and they're going to give all the proceeds to God. And so that's what they say they're going to do, but actually that's not what they end up doing. They said that they're going to give it all to God, but they were lying. They kept part of it for themselves. So on one hand, they want to look good and be sacrificial like all the other Christians are, but on the other hand, there's a kind of sense of entitlement and greed, and they keep part of the money.
And so Dave, one of the I think the lessons from the story, it's not actually about giving. I mean, I guess we could draw some lessons about giving, but it's really more about lying. And you say this, Dave, lying is one of the easiest habits to start and one of the hardest habits to stop.
Yes, even in my own life, I've been kind of checking my spirit. There's all kinds of lies, like there's the little white lie, there's the exaggeration lie, and it's one of these habits that's so subtle and it's so gentle. But if we don't get in front of it and stop it early, it can really be dominant in our lives.
Yeah, and it's funny because in some of our meetings, some of our staff meetings, we've been laughing over the last few weeks at, wait, hold on, that was a little bit of a white lie right there, right?
Right.
Because sometimes we can spin stuff just even in conversation to make ourselves look better or for whatever other reason.
Yeah, I think even as spiritual leaders, we can exaggerate a story.
Yeah.
I think as followers of Jesus, we can make a promise to pray and not pray.
Yeah.
We can make a promise to God that we're going to serve and not serve. So I think there's all kinds of ways that we can get caught up in lying.
Yeah, and so this particular story then, back to Acts 5, is about sort of self-focused ambition, right? Even a little bit of an attention-seeking involved here.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. The reason we're going to find out the consequences are so severe is they were really trying to use this as a way to get attention. They were using this a way, maybe not even to just get attention, but to get respect and adulation. And that can be a really dangerous thing, even for a Christian.
So Dave, what's the takeaway for someone watching this with their small group or with their family or with their mentor? What's the takeaway for us today, 2,000 years after the Ananias and Sapphira story? What do followers of Jesus take away from this as far as not being too casual with God in this area?
Yeah, see, what they thought is this is just a little lie. But Peter, confronts them and he says, no, this isn't just a lie to people. This was a lie to God. And God is all-knowing, and God already knew they were going to lie. They weren't pulling one over on God. And so we need to remember, we say, oh, well, this lie will just hurt myself. No, actually, when we lie, we hurt God. And when we lie, we make it easier to lie again, which will then hurt others. And so the takeaway here is really confront our own lying at an early phase so it doesn't become a habit, because if it does become a habit, it's going to lead to some really difficult consequences.